Welcome to the world's #1 fitness business podcast for health club owners, gym managers, and fitness entrepreneurs. As always, this will be a great show as we have another expert to help your fitness business and your career. We'd like to thank our premier sponsor, Active Management, for supporting us, and we highly recommend becoming a member of Active Management to strengthen your business in 2016. There are loads of resources members receive, so join the Active Tribe today at www.activemgmt.com.au. Now that's enough from me. Let's welcome the show's amazing host, Chantal. What's on this week's show?
Hi Harper, and hi to all of you out there. This week I'm chatting to Maureen Hagan, the Vice President of Program Innovation for GoodLife Fitness and canfitpro. And honestly, between you and me, one of the most lovely, genuine and passionate women that I've had the pleasure to interview. So I am really, really excited to share today's show with you all. But in an unplanned twist, when I interviewed Mo, I had intended it to be for one show, like we normally do. But we ended up talking for an hour, and the information was so good that I didn't want to cut anything out during the edit. So rather than try and cram it all into one show, I'm actually going to split it across 2 weeks. Week 1 will focus on leadership and week 2 on group fitness. I'll tell you more about this week's show in just a minute, because first, it's actually time to announce our bronze, silver and gold medal winners for the biggest number of show downloads in the last month. And the winners are JT from Active Management in show 43 takes out the bronze. The Best of the Boys, show 41, takes the silver. And our gold medal this month went to Mike RC from Loud Rumour in show 42. Congratulations to all of this month's medal winners. Don't forget, if you missed any of those shows, just head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and you can check them out. It is time for a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Tribe Team Training, the complete small group training business system that's helping clubs make more money without having to sell more memberships. To find out more information, head over to tribeteamtraining.com.
This month, we have an awesome prize for people who subscribe to the show notes at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com or engage with the Fitness Business Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even emailing us. Do it and you may be this month's winner. Now it's time for this week's guest.
Tribe, as mentioned, this week I'm chatting to Mo Hagan, Vice President of Program Innovation for GoodLife Fitness and canfitpro. In this week's show, the focus is on leadership. Mo talks about the evolution of leadership and culture in the fitness industry. She explains what leadership through serving others actually means and gives us tips and examples on how to lead in this way. But first, before we head into the interview, let's get to know this week's guest a little better with our quickfire 5 questions. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Maureen Hagan, the Vice President of Program Innovation for GoodLife Fitness and canfitpro. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's amazing to be here, Chantal.
Now, Mo, are you ready to start our quickfire 5 questions?
I am ready to go.
Okay, let's get straight into it. Tell the listeners, why do you do what you do?
I live to serve.
And what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Never rush life. Take it one moment at a time and live. Truly live in the present.
And what's a personal habit that helps you become better at what you do?
Never press the snooze on my alarm clock.
I like that one. Tell us, is there a book that you'd recommend and why?
It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and it helps you get really focused on the one thing that makes the biggest difference.
Like it. And tell our tribe why they should stick around and listen to the main interview today.
Because knowledge is powerful.
Love it. Mo, thank you so much, and we look forward to checking back in with you shortly. Okay, that was just a taste of things to come. Like I said earlier, this interview was a real treat, and I am so confident that you will take something away from this week's show. Enjoy. A global ambassador on the benefits of exercise and living well, Maureen Hagan is Vice President of Program Innovation for GoodLife Fitness and canfitpro, Canadian Fitness Professionals, the largest fitness education and certification organisation in Canada. Mo, as she's known in the fitness industry, is a licensed physiotherapist, a physical health educator, and has been recognised for her work in fitness that spans 3 decades, with numerous awards for innovation, passion, and leadership. And she was named one of Canada's 20 most influential women in sport and physical activity in 2014. And most recently, Mo was acknowledged by IHRSA with the Woman Leader Award in honour of Julie Mayne. Mo is a published author and a regular contributor to consumer magazines, online publications, including the Huffington Post. Welcome to the show, Mo.
Thank you. It's just so awesome to be here.
Now, that is just an incredible bio. There is lots and lots of things that you've done, but tell us this. Has there been any roadblocks or any hurdles on your road to success?
There have been many, and they actually have a similar theme. Being told, no, you can't do it, or no, it doesn't exist. That started very early in my life when I always knew I wanted to be in fitness and health, was told there was no career. And, I think being one of those premature twins where you're always told you're going to be small, weak, frail, I had this determination from day one to prove people wrong. So I would just go out and shape it if it didn't exist. So roadblocks to me were just opportunities for me to climb, become stronger, to find a new path, and to really be that leader as defined by the word itself. So I just, every time I hear that word, it does make me smile. And it just makes me think, okay, well then how am I going to make it through or climb over?
That's a great attitude to have. Now, before we go any further, I've got to ask you, do you prefer Maureen or Mo?
Oh, my friends in the industry know me and call me Mo.
Okay. You happy for me to call you Mo?
You betcha, girlfriend.
Okay. Now, listen, Mo, I just headed over to your website earlier, mohagan.com, and honestly, you have done so many things in the fitness industry. Tell us, in no particular order, what would you say are your top 3 roles in the industry that you have loved the most and why?
Oh, great question. And very hard to answer because there's so many things I love to do. Every day is a new adventure. I would have to put in no particular order. One role which really led me to where I am today is being that of a group fitness instructor. It's how I truly began my career. I was that, I guess you would say, a retired athlete once I left school. And I needed an outlet for my enthusiasm to compete, to move, to exercise. So I began group fitness classes. And I think it was my first class. I actually thought I could be up there teaching. I have this passion to teach and lead others. My mother called it a bossiness and as a kid, but I used that bossiness to lead others to become fit and active. So I began teaching group fitness classes the day after I graduated from university, which I received my degree in physical health education. And my first job was that of a group fitness instructor, as well as setting people up on fitness programs. And that has always been at the root of everything that I do, whether it's working as an executive leader here at GoodLife Fitness, at Canadian Fitness Professionals. I still teach fitness classes today on a regular basis. And while that amazes some people, it's the root of where I exist. The second top role would be that of the risk that I took leaving my dream career. While I'm still a licensed physiotherapist, I left the clinical field working in a large teaching hospital, which I willed into my life as far as affirmations back in the early 80s. Then 4 years later, worked in that exact role, but I left it because I had the opportunity of becoming a director at a growing group of fitness clubs known as GoodLife Fitness. And I had an incredible boss that I still have today, the owner, who really challenged me and invited me to create my role and to help shape an entire department. So that was my second role that led to where I am today. And then the third role is that and this one's tough because it's a tie between being a fitness ambassador for the consumer market and being a trainer out in the fitness industry, where I've had the opportunity to travel the world and teach and train fitness professionals in all areas of the fitness industry. So that's kind of I can't even decide which is more important, because without our consumers, we wouldn't be doing what we are doing today. So I guess you could say that's kind of a 3+1.
Yeah, we'll allow you to have 4. That's okay.
Okay.
Mo, look, I mean, you've just given us a snippet, and I mentioned it earlier in your bio. You do have a vast amount of experience in the industry. I want to pick your brain a little bit about how different areas of the industry has evolved over time. What's your thoughts in particular on leadership?
Oh, gosh, invaluable. I believe that is truly at the heart of successful companies in general, no matter the industry you're in, but even more important in the fitness industry. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I work with an audience. My clientele base is 4,000 group fitness instructors. The 95% of them, at least here in Canada, are part-time associates. So they work full-time in another industry or area. And you need to have a leader that you can be, who aspires you to commit, whether it's 2 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 15, 25, 45 hours a week. And it takes somebody who inspires you to want to be that follower. And it's always that second follower, or the first follower. It's actually the second that, follows out of curiosity or out of inspiration. And leadership is at the heart of all successful companies. It's the ones that are willing to go outside the comfort zone, who create opportunities for associates, who create opportunities for their audience to learn and to grow from. Leaders create the paths upon which careers can be built, and they inspire people to do what they do and work hard at it. I truly believe that leadership is at the heart of all successful companies. And I've had the benefit of working with some of the top leaders around the world in the fitness and healthcare field. And I'm always amazed at how, even if they don't know who you are, they'll always speak so highly about their leader, the leader of their tribe or of their organization. And I have observed that here at GoodLife Fitness. I know thousands of associates who have never met Patch or our COO, Jane, and they're amazed by them. And yet they've never met them once. They've just read their work or listened to their podcasts, and yet they have that inspiration and they want to learn all they can from them. So leadership is invaluable. You can't even put a price tag on it, but it is also, with leadership comes great responsibility to know that you do have a role to play, and you need to be able to walk your talk and be in the essence of who you are as a leader, because otherwise, your reputation as a leader, as much as it can be shiny and bright at times when things are great, what truly defines a leader is when things are tough, and that leader is still in the essence of who they are during the bad times as well as the good times.
Mo, you touched on it briefly then, but talk to me about culture within the fitness industry. Have you seen that evolve over time?
Absolutely. And interesting enough, when I started in the fitness industry, and I've been blessed to work at GoodLife Fitness for 33 years, wow. It was all about, delivering the workout and creating their program and, getting your music right or delivering what you thought was the perfect fitness class. And what I've learned over the years is it has little to do with the content. It's more about the caring. People don't really care how much you know. It's how much you care, and show them you care. And at GoodLife, we've developed the culture of the awesome meet and greet, the world-class meet and greet, where the member walks in the front door, or you have a workshop and these delegates who signed up, they come in and you meet them, you shake their hand, you give them a two-handed shake, or depending on the country you're in, that greet that's, part of your culture, and you state their name and you say something about them that you're captured by in the beginning, such as when I first saw your picture, it was like, oh my gosh, your beautiful looks that, align with the energy I feel, even though we're across the world from each other. So it's about the meet and greet. It's about the caring. And that's the culture that keeps people coming back, more so than the content that you deliver or how perfect your class or workout is. Now, of course, as professionals, especially today, the standard is higher than ever. So you need to be qualified certified, and credible. But the fourth C is you need to care about them as a person, know their name, know their spouse's name, how many kids they have, if they have a dog, how they exercise when they're not with you, what excites them about learning, those things that aren't anything to do with the degree that you got in school.
It's funny, Mo, because we see, or we have seen in the fitness industry across the world, this move to gyms that have less and less staff, a lot of 24/7 models coming in. But what you've just touched on is how valuable that connection between people is. And,
absolutely,
you can't replace that.
No, you can't. And I will say, and again, to answer your question about what's changed so much, technology has just, changed and influenced our business more and more. And I believe a lot of it for the better. But I will tell you an experience I had that really speaks to connection. And that is with virtual fitness classes. I work in the area. And as I said, I started in group fitness. And still to this day, I believe it's the heartbeat or the pulse of the club. With these 24-hour no service facilities, you don't have that same connection. And let's just say, it was a negotiation between the owner of GoodLife and myself to bring virtual fitness classes in. It's done an amazing job to introduce more people to group fitness and to fitness, which I love. And we wouldn't have reached those people perhaps otherwise. But then they get this feeling of connection, and that makes them feel more confident over time. And this is where I feel that everyone has a place. And if we all do our jobs well, we'll touch more people in the world with fitness, however it is defined. And those that want that human connection, they will reach out and find, that type of service, whether it's personal training, whether it's group fitness, whether it's small group training, whether it's, the community learn to run programs. They'll reach out and find that once they build their confidence. And perhaps that began with the video they saw in the virtual studio or at their home in their living room, such as my twin sister, who started her exercise career in her own home watching a video. So much has changed, but you cannot negate the incredible value of human connection. It will always remain. I consult clubs and owners and directors all the time, and I say, if you can take your cardio theater and move it into a circle and put a trainer in the middle or an intern or a passionate student and get them to do group cardio workouts, people will come back to work out on those treadmills more often than they would just for the treadmill to say, start now and you're finished.
Mo, I'm going to talk to you more about group fitness later on, but first let's explore a little bit around leadership through serving others. Do you want to define that for us?
Leadership through serving others, yes. I'd like to sum it up by speaking about connecting with their needs and goals versus connecting to what your objectives are. So truly serving others is aligning with what they need, what they want, and then using your expertise and using the programs that you offer to find that true alignment. And I know that there are sales leaders and groups that listen to your podcasts, and there are people that are, really responsible for hitting certain goals and quotas. And if we really believe that we're sharing a gift to help create a solution for what the person is looking for versus creating the sale to hit your quota, then you will actually get the sale, but you've done it in a way that aligns with what they came looking for. And that's truly serving others. It's about being an unselfish listener. It's about being judgment-free instead of sitting there thinking, well, I know what Chantel wants or needs and I've got the package ready to go. It's about truly listening to what she loves, what she doesn't like, what she's been successful before. It's asking those, questions that really dive into the person's history and beliefs and values and likes and dislikes and serving their needs versus yours. And if we do that using the tools and the programs and services we offer, we'll have more success and we'll have more joy in our work, and we'll have an incredible relationship that comes out of the sale or out of the outcome. And that might not even be a sale. It might be that person, the prospect, walked out the door because the timing wasn't right or something just didn't connect. But get this, when they're ready to make that change, they will think of you like they think of a friend. They think of their, an expert they met in any area of your life. They won't think of you as that pushy person that, wasn't even caring about their needs. So serving others is through working for that person, not, working. It's a different level of work relationship. And I just feel like it's just, if you think of it as giving a gift every time you interact with someone, then that's truly serving them.
That's a really nice analogy, nice way to think about it. For our tribe, Mo, do you think you could give them a couple of tips if they wanted to introduce or implement this form of leadership into their business? Do you have a few tips of how they could do that?
Oh my. The first one is, I would say, a grounding before you actually have your interaction with that prospect or that individual, whether it's an employee, a prospective new member, a member that's disgruntled. Sometimes you think, they want to talk to me, and you automatically assume it might be a negative or a criticism, but you never know. So have a grounding with yourself. It's like a clearing where you open your mind, you put on that frame of reference that puts you in a position of open ears and bright eyes, peak attitude, and a calmness to be a listener. And that's what I've had to learn over the years, because as a type A person, I admit it, I'm always seem to be busy, and I feel like I'm ready to have that answer for them before they even ask. I've really learned how to do a clearing for myself before I step into that situation. And that allows me to be a lot more open-minded, to really hear what's going on and to be clear in my mind about possibilities for solutions or information. And I find that that's allowed me to create a better relationship right off the top. The second tip is, do not be afraid. And I saw this happen actually watching the female candidate for the president of the United States of America on TV. Mm-hmm. She was really put up against the wall with some pretty tough questions from one of the states in the US. And instead of coming back with a defensive answer, she actually stopped, paused, and asked a question to clarify. And I could see the mindset. She was thinking, okay, how am I going to approach this? And maybe she didn't quite have the answer. So to give herself that time to pause and to ask clarification, you could see the body language between this audience member and this candidate improve. Like they both leaned in and listened. And there was like this friendship that was developing, and it all took place in literally 2 minutes, because she took the time to actually listen and ask questions and not just feel that she had to have the answer and had to talk loud or affirmatively. She was very soft and really came in an empathetic manner. So that would be my second tip, is to investigate and ask questions, and do not be afraid to not have the answer at the tip of your tongue. And then lastly, leadership is truly to serve in the essence of a true leader is to actually collaborate. Because sometimes you can't find a win-win solution or an answer, or, you can't perhaps even overcome an obstacle for that prospective member to join. Maybe their reasons at the time all make valid sense. Rather than taking them back to the place to make them feel small, collaborate on what would be a possible solution. And that may be that we revisit this opportunity, or we work together, or we promise to go back and work separately and then meet again when we've had the opportunity to explore opportunities and options. So collaboration would be my third tip, because that shows that you're willing to work together, not just for the initial outcome, but for the long-term relationship.
Mo, before we leave the subject of leadership, I want to talk to you about group fitness managers. I myself spent a little bit of time managing a group fitness team, and there are so many moving pieces to running a group fitness department. Do you have some tips or advice maybe on where group fitness managers can start in regards to leading a team?
Wow, I love the question.
It's a big one.
If we could answer that one and publish that, then oh my gosh, we would just be, well, we'd probably be rich, at least in satisfaction, because that one is a changing game every day. Yeah. But I would have to say a tip for group fitness managers to effectively lead and serve and be effective in their role is to really empower group fitness instructors to take ownership and to look at the role they have as a career, not a part-time hobby job. And to make that an expectation, again, comes back to culture. Share the culture, educate them on what the culture of leadership is like at the company that this person is part of, and set the instructor up for that type of culture. And perfect example would be when you call, and I see this happen a lot, and even in my own company here at GoodLife Fitness, is the instructor will call and go, well, I'm not feeling well. Can you find a sub for my class? Or, it's snowing out and I can't get in. Can you find a sub? And I'm like, you know what? You've got a phone and you've got a voice and you're a professional. You should know your teaching buddies. We set that up at the beginning. And if you've given it a try and you're struggling, let me know. I'll be glad to work with you. But to not micromanage or do it for them, but to empower them to take ownership of their job as a group fitness instructor, whether that's twice, 2 hours a week or 20 hours a week. That's a really big one, because when you set your team up to be self-directed leaders and responsible, professionals, that means that this is a career for them, then they will work independently and you have a much better time working with your team. Many group fitness managers have a lot of instructors to manage and not enough hours in the day. And that's the most important part, is have them work interdependently. Secondly, is to really put out the fires right away. And I guess I could share it through a scenario, is that the most common behavioral style of a group fitness instructor is that of the I personality. Very high energy, people-oriented, social creatures. They don't really have necessarily, their strength is perhaps not in detail, organization, or time management. So they tend to run around and they're not always on time. You got to nip that in the butt and help them build strengths in areas to help them be successful, but really hold them accountable. But again, do it collaboratively and make agreements. Chantel, it's important that you're there on time. And, what is holding you back from getting to your class on time? And if so, what can we do together to ensure that you're there in time to build rapport with your members? By doing so, your classes will be fuller and you'll have more satisfaction, and go on and build that pleasure versus pain principle with them. So holding them accountable and dealing with the issues right off the bat, because they can actually grow to become big issues that cause a breakdown in the relationship, and there's so much emotion that you have to deal with, and that takes a lot of time. Thirdly, the best tip I could give for group fitness managers is to really excel and find out ways to manage your time, prioritizing what's most important, because this is a job that is 24/7 and it never leaves your side, especially if you carry your phone and it's always on. You've got to learn how to manage your time, to have downtime and away time, so that the time you have with your associates is pleasure time.
Tribe, we're going to leave this week's interview there, because the next questions that I chat to Mo about are all around the topic of group fitness. And we actually start that particular show when I asked Mo to look into her crystal ball and tell us what the world of group fitness is going to look like in 5 years' time. You will love what she has to say. So tune in next time for part 2 of my interview with Mo Hagan.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
As you know, our goal at the Fitness Business Podcast is to help you grow your fitness business. So I love it when I can tell you about new products, programs, and solutions to help you do just that. Our show would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. And one of those awesome sponsors is Visual Fitness Planner. But before I tell you more about them, let me ask you these questions. What is your membership closing percentages? What percentage of your members at the point of sale sign up for a complimentary orientation session? What percentage of your new members actually show up for their complimentary orientation session? And most importantly, what percentage of your membership buys personal training? These are the numbers that you have to be asking yourself and measuring every single day. As the old saying goes, if you're not measuring your numbers, you're not managing your numbers. A club's set show close numbers are significantly improved because of the Visual Fitness Planner. The VFP provides a turnkey system for marketing, capturing, and integrating new members into a healthy lifestyle change. The VFP automates your existing sales, marketing, and orientation systems with the power of its visually impacting technology. VFP calculates a person's health risks for diseases. It predicts their health age. It creates a before and after 3D image of their body and calculates how long it will take to achieve their goals. And in this process, increases your membership and personal training sales and overall member retention. To check out more about the VFP, head over to their website at myvfp.com.au. And of course, a copy of that website link is in today's show notes.
It's time for the Fitness Business Podcast Wrap.
Okay, tribe, here are my top takeaways from this week's show. Think of roadblocks as opportunities to climb, to become stronger, to find a new path, and to be a leader. Mo said that leaders create the path upon which careers can be built. Leadership is at the heart of all successful companies. She said what truly defines a leader is when things are tough and that leader is still in the essence of who they are, during the bad times as well as the good times. She also said don't be afraid to not always have the answer straight away. Take the time to investigate and to ask questions. Don't forget this month you can win a copy of People by You, a fantastic book by Jeb Blount, who just happens to be a guest on the show in a few weeks' time. For your chance to win, simply subscribe to the show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com or engage with the Fitness Business Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or even email us. Do it and you might just be this month's winner. Thanks for joining me for another week of the Fitness Business Podcast. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.
Great show this week that you should be suffering DOMs, delayed onset mind soreness, as you are overloaded and that's when your mind is strengthened. You and your business have been strengthened thanks to the amazing support of our premier sponsor, Active Management. Check out www.activemgmt.com.au only if you want to strengthen your business and your leadership. Don't forget all today's links and notes are found at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, where you can also subscribe and never miss a show and maybe win a prize. Next week is another incredible guest with Chantal, so get ready for more Fit Bizpiration.